is Graterol. I am from Venezuela. Today I tell you about NoSQL in Fedora Infra. I am free and open enthusiast developer and contributor for open source software. And I live in Colombia. I am ambassador and developer in Fedora Infra and in Fedora distribution. Okay, today topics. And in my talk, I told you about current Fedora Infra status and NoSQL versus SQL language in development and of technology in distribution. 2 points about Fedora and NoSQL engines and distinct for the new age with NoSQL technology. Bien. Ahora sí me empecé a hablar en español. Okay. El estado actual con Fedora Infra. ¿Cómo está actualmente Fedora Infra en los repositorios de GitHub para la comunidad? O sea, para el software que se desarrolla en Fedora para mantener la distribución.
So we're now going to present what's the current state of the Fedora infrastructure software and the tools you guys are using.
Okay. En GitHub tenemos aproximadamente unos 62 repositorios.
There are 62 repositories in GitHub right now for Fedora Infra.
Mantenido por 32 personas, más que todo por Raspberry y Pango.
Yeah, 32 people team maintaining the full thing.
Okay. 4 de los proyectos más representativos actualmente son Package DB2, Body, Message, and Fast.
So the projects that people is contributing the most right now are Package DB2, Body, and Fedora Message and Fast.
La URL para entrar a todos los repositorios de la Fedora Infra es esa que vemos allí.
And that's the URL to the repository.
Okay. Voy a hablar acerca de 3 proyectos de los 4 que nombré.
So he's now going to present 3 of the projects he just mentioned, and this is the Package DB2 one.
Okay, Package DB2 es un sistema, es la versión número 2 del sistema de administración de paquetes de Fedora.
So this is the second version of the Package DB software, and this has been rewritten using Flask.
Okay. Lo importante acá de lo que voy a hablar sobre los paquetes es la tecnología que utiliza para demostrar que hay mucho uso de sistemas relacionales a nivel de base de datos.
So the things I want all of you to focus on are the technologies being used for this software, like the databases and cache systems that it is using right now.
En el caso de Package DB2 se ve el uso de Flask como framework web. SQL Kelly, the WebDF form, Memcache.
So it is now using Flask as a web framework, SQL Alchemy as a library overhand to communicate with the database, and it is also using Memcache as a cache system, plus WT form.
En este proyecto es el único proyecto que vi que utiliza una de las tantas tecnologías de NoSQL.
Yeah, this is just one of the projects that I've seen that is actually using some of the technologies from the NoSQL world, like Memcache.
Okay. Otro de los software que se desarrolla en Fedora Infra es Body, que es la plataforma para manejar las actualizaciones de Fedora.
So the second tool I want to present is Body, which is the tool that is being used to manage the whole updates in Fedora update process.
En este caso utilizan otras tecnologías para el desarrollo web, pero siguen utilizando base de datos relacional con el ORM.
So they use other web frameworks for Body, but they are still using relational databases as databases for this tool.
Okay. Y por último, Message, que es un proyecto para transmitir mensajes entre tecnologías de Fedora.
And Fedora Message is one of the tools being used to send messages throughout Fedora tools.
Okay. Bien. Ese es el estado actual en el que se encuentra el desarrollo dentro de la comunidad de Fedora. Okay. Entonces, ahora el siguiente punto es esta charla es NoSQL versus SQL para el desarrollo dentro de la infraestructura.
So that's the current state of the tools being used in Fedora right now, some of the tools being used right now in Fedora infrastructure. The next point will be some comparisons between the NoSQL technologies that could be used for these tools and the technologies that are being used right now.
Okay, NoSQL es el acrónimo de Not Only SQL y básicamente son un conjunto de paradigmas de cómo se almacenan datos en un repositorio.
NoSQL stands for not only SQL, but it's a set of algorithms that explain how the data is going to be stored in the file system and in the database. So it's not just about SQL, but the way data is actually treated within the database itself.
Esta tecnología trata de abarcar la mayor cantidad de casos posibles, de casos de uso posible, para así tener un mayor campo en el mercado.
So it tries to cover most of the use cases in the market, including those being covered by SQL technologies as well. It tries to, some of the use cases are those that are listed there, and it also tries to cover some other use cases that are not being covered by SQL technologies.
Okay. Una característica de esta tecnología es su simplicidad en el diseño. No hace falta tanta complejidad en un diseño para poderlo hacer funcionar.
So one of the really good things about these technologies is that they are very simple. Deploying those technologies, maintaining those technologies is very cheap and easy.
Otra característica que es bastante importante es la escalabilidad. La escalabilidad que funciona con NoSQL, la comparación de SQL es de manera horizontal.
One of the other really good things about NoSQL technologies is the way you can scale them out horizontally, and the fact that it's really easy to do that, and it's not as easy to do that using relational databases for the current technology.
Y por último, para hablar de las características, son dos: la fase de administración y la fase de desarrollo, y las múltiples opciones que tenemos de uso las múltiples opciones que tenemos de casos para NoSQL.
And the other thing that we're going to present is how easy it is to develop on top of these technologies and maintain them.
Ahora hablemos de los tipos de NoSQL. Okay. Existen muchos tipos de NoSQL, pero básicamente son 5 los más importantes.
So there are several types of NoSQL technologies, but 5 of them are the most important ones.
Okay. El primero y el que más conocemos es el almacenamiento basado en documentos.
So the first one and probably the most common one is document-based NoSQL technologies like MongoDB and CouchDB.
Por lo general se utilizan formatos como JSON o BSON para almacenar información en disco.
These technologies normally use data formats like JSON to store data in the file system.
Okay. Uno de los ejemplos de este tipo de base de datos es MongoDB y CouchDB. Okay, two companies. Okay. Otro de los tipos de NoSQL es las bases de datos orientadas a grafos. El ejemplo más resaltante es Neo4j y FloatDB.
One of the other families in the NoSQL kind of databases is the graph database. And two of the good examples of that, of those are Node.js, Node4j and FloatDB.
Okay. Otro tipo de base de datos que es muy parecido a la base de datos documental es la base de datos orientada a clave objeto.
The other very common kind of NoSQL technology is the key value store, like Redis and Memcached.
Okay. Y por último, los últimos dos tipos de base de datos es la base de datos orientada a objeto y la base de datos tabular.
The other two kind of NoSQL databases are the object-based kind of database like ToadDB and ObjectDB, and the tabular one like HBase and Bigtable.
Ok, una de las cosas que hay que hablar cuando se toca el tema de NoSQL es su rendimiento como tal.
So one of the things that is always worth mentioning when we're talking about NoSQL is how it is, how scalable it is, and how fast it is on treating data and storing data.
Y dentro de todo este tema, a la hora de hablar, hay que tocar el tema de la arquitectura, que la arquitectura es muy importante a la hora de tener un buen rendimiento en el desarrollo.
And this is all thanks to the architecture of these technologies and how they have been thought and developed.
Ok, otra cosa que hay que tener en mente a la hora de escoger el desarrollo con NoSQL es el motor. Un motor que tenga mucho desarrollo o que tenga muchas pruebas a lo largo del tiempo. Ok, entonces, una de las características de NoSQL es que se puede manejar mucha información en la memoria. Entonces, esto en SQL también se puede, pero con la tecnología o con algunos motores de NoSQL es mucho más fácil.
So one of the things that makes these databases great is the fact that they use a lot of in-memory processing of data, and they try to take it the most. They try to get advantage of all the resources that are available, which is something that also relational databases and SQL technologies do. But these new technologies have been thought to take the most of it.
Y no menos importante es la elección del lenguaje de programación. O sea, hay que elegir un lenguaje de programación bastante amigable para poder obtener un rendimiento ideal. Un ejemplo de ello es Python, Ruby, JavaScript.
And the other good thing is that they have support for most of the common languages, and the fact that some of those languages are actually being used by Fedora Infra right now as well.
Okay. Un día que le mencioné a Rasbin que por qué no desarrollábamos en SQL, nos respondió que no había nadie que administrara eso, o sea, no había nadie con conocimiento para administrar eso.
So I presented this idea already to some of the members in the Fedora Infra team, and the feedback I got is that there's no one that wants to maintain the whole thing. So this is one of the reasons why no work on this area has been done yet.
Entonces, lo bueno de NoSQL es que es muy fácil de administrar y cualquiera de nosotros podría hacerlo sin ningún problema. Es una de las características de esta tecnología.
So one good thing about NoSQL, I probably already said this a couple of times, that it's really easy to maintain, and this is something that any of us could do actually. So if we get enough knowledge in the community and we all work together on this, we can probably start migrating some of the tools towards NoSQL technologies.
El lenguaje que se utiliza en NoSQL es muy amigable para los desarrolladores y ya no necesitamos DBA para que lo podamos mantener.
Yeah, and you don't need like really super hero skills to maintain NoSQL databases.
Okay. Y otra cosa muy importante que viene de la mano con NoSQL es la computación en la nube. Entonces la computación en la nube nos permite facilitar mucho el desarrollo con esta tecnología en el deployment o en el desarrollo como tal. Okay. Herramientas para el desarrollo con NoSQL. En el caso de Python tenemos MongoDB que nos permite utilizar MongoDB como ODM.
So we also have already some tools that could be used to port these Fedora tools towards NoSQL databases. One of those tools is MongoDB, which is a Python ODM, object document mapper, and we also have Mongos, which is basically the same thing but for Node.js.
Bueno, también hay que hablar de SQL y todo el mundo o la mayoría de los desarrolladores conocen este lenguaje. Una de las cosas de SQL es que es el lenguaje más viejo de base de datos que conocemos y por eso es tan común.
So we also have to talk a little bit about SQL. We cannot just talk about NoSQL. And SQL is probably very known here and the most used language to communicate to databases. And it's pretty old, it has been around for a long time already.
Una de las cosas que tiene de malo en contra de NoSQL es su difícil administración.
One of the painful points about NoSQL, relational databases is that it's kind of hard to maintain those, and they require some knowledge, and they are not that easy to scale out as NoSQL technologies.
Terminando de hablar sobre NoSQL, un poco de introducción, hablemos del estado actual de NoSQL dentro de la distribución Fedora.
So we're now going to talk a little bit about the reality of NoSQL within Fedora and what's the current state of it.
Okay. Fedora tiene muchos paquetes o muchos motores de NoSQL. Los más importantes, por decirlo de alguna manera, basados en lo más importante basado en documentos y lo más importante basado en clave de valor.
So there's support for many of the NoSQL technologies that exist nowadays, and Fedora, thankfully enough, has support for the most common one that are document-based and key-value-based.
Okay. La lista completa de todos los motores de NoSQL se puede encontrar en esta URL y allí podrán ver el estado actual de cada uno de los paquetes que se están llevando o portando a Fedora.
So if you click on that URL, you will see the full list of packages, NoSQL packages right now in Fedora, and that what's the state of those packages and whether they've been ported to Fedora or not.
Ok, ahora el paso, la clave de esta presentación es cómo nosotros como Fedora Infra podemos llevar el software actual a tecnología NoSQL.
So the whole point of this presentation is to illustrate how we can, as a Fedora community, port some of our tools, migrate some of our tools out of relational technologies towards NoSQL technologies.
Para muchos puede parecer algo de otro mundo, o los que están acostumbrados al lenguaje SQL.
So for many people, this might seem something like coming from another world, because many people is familiar with relational databases, but it's not as difficult as other people think.
Y lo importante acá es tener en mente que la tecnología, o específicamente el Internet, está evolucionando de tal manera que la base internacional no se da abasto para todo eso.
So with the current growth of data that not just the internet has, but also the Fedora infrastructure team and the Fedora as a community has, it's making it really difficult for relational technologies and relational databases to keep up with that. So we need to find new solutions that will keep ourselves updated.
Ok, ahora, tocando el tema de reemplazar NoSQL por SQL por NoSQL. Actualmente todos los proyectos que utilizan SQL Canvas se pueden cambiar. Una de las cosas importantes es el cambio progresivo.
So the current state of the projects in the infrastructure team is that all of them, thankfully enough, can be migrated, but the important thing here is to come up with a list of steps that should be taken in order to achieve that.
Una de las formas que yo veo para empezar a migrar toda esa tecnología utilizando bases de datos clave de valor, como sistemas de caché.
One of the first things that we could probably do is using more key value stores to keep in memory all the data that we need to have, that we need to cache.
Otra de las cosas que me gustaría que se implementaran en Fedora es el uso del MongoDB o CouchDB para las APIs.
The other thing that I would like to see happening in the infrastructure team of some of the tools that we're using is implementing or adopting MongoDB or CouchDB to support the APIs that we have.
Y otra de las cosas que, si la comunidad lo permite, es que el nuevo desarrollo sea por defecto con bases de datos no relacionadas.
And if after doing these two things, the community is happy with the current state, we could probably just migrate towards just NoSQL technologies and make all the new developments on top of those technologies instead of using relational databases.
Pero todo el trabajo de desarrollo no es el más difícil, sino la parte de mirar toda la información de nuestra base de datos actuales a los nuevos motores no relacionales que utilicemos.
But the real difficult thing is not actually developing or migrating the code itself, but migrating the data that we have right now out of the relational databases.
Okay, y una de las formas que podemos hacer es tratar de que con los nuevos desarrollos ir migrando partes de la data para así en algún momento tener ya toda la data sobre el NoSQL o de forma híbrida.
So probably an easiest path towards migrating everything on NoSQL technologies is actually having some kind of hybrid support for relational databases and NoSQL databases with the current tools that we have right now. And new developments should be done on top of NoSQL technologies.
Okay. Una de las tareas que actualmente tienen la mayoría de los desarrolladores en Fedora Infra es desarrollar nuevas características. Pero podríamos buscar nuevos colaboradores para que hagan esta tarea de migración a NoSQL.
So one of the things that the infrastructure team has as task right now is finding new things to do, new tasks for people, but it will also need new contributors. So we probably could engage people to help us out migrating this data.
Bien, en la parte de infraestructura, me he enfocado mucho en la parte de desarrollo, pero en la parte de infraestructura también podemos tener personas, o como lo dije hace un momento, NoSQL es muy fácil y no tendríamos mucho problema a la hora de desplegarlo. Ok, entonces, ¿necesitamos cluster para MongoDB o para cualquier otro motor de base de datos no relacional? Pues depende de la necesidad que tenga Fedora para la petición de datos.
So I've been focused on the coding part of the whole migration process, but now speaking a little bit more about infrastructure, you may ask whether we need new clusters for these technologies, and it really depends on how much data we have right now and how much data we have to migrate towards the NoSQL technologies and how much we have to scale them out.
Okay. MongoDB y CouchDB son uno de los motores que son fáciles de escalar, así que no tendremos problema en ese aspecto para desarrollar cluster en el futuro.
Among the current technologies available in the market, probably MongoDB and CouchDB are the easiest ones to scale out. So based on the list that I read on before the talk, I consider these two technologies as good candidates to be chosen for this task.
Los motores de clave de valor nos pueden servir mucho para el intercambio de información. En proyectos como Fake Message para tener una alternativa a RabbitMQ.
So we could also use key value stores as a way to exchange data between services, and for example, use things like Redis in Fedora Message to send messages instead of using RabbitMQ.
Ahora, NoSQL no te asegura toda el ACID que SQL te permite. Entonces, hay maneras de hacer, por ejemplo, write concern, para que toda la data sea asegurada a la hora de escribir.
So, NoSQL doesn't have all the guarantees that relational databases give as well. So, there are some ways to achieve the same level of guarantees in terms of constraint, relations, and uniqueness of data. And one of those ways is in MongoDB you can use write concerns to make sure the data has hit the disk before it replies back.
Ok, en resumen, el cambio a NoSQL podría beneficiar a la comunidad de Fedora. Okay. Y particularmente estoy entusiasmado con este proyecto y podría poner todas las fichas en que este proyecto salga lo más pronto posible.
So, to wrap up the whole talk, I do believe the NoSQL technologies are good candidates for our tools, and that we should migrate, if not everything, at least a good part of it towards these technologies. And since I'm very enthusiastic about this project and these new technologies, I'm available to put my time and my effort on doing that job if the community is happy with it.
Y otro de los beneficios que tendríamos con este proyecto es atraer más personas de la comunidad de MongoDB, de Apache, en CouchDB, Redis, atraerlos a Fedora para el desarrollo.
And another good thing about this effort would be that we can gather others' communities' attention in what we're doing. We could get MongoDB's attention or CouchDB's attention on the effort we're putting on here. And probably we can get a lot of feedback from them and join efforts on making these happen somehow.
Any question?
And I don't have to translate that, right? So do you guys have questions? Go ahead. I think you can understand what he's saying.
It's more a remark than a question. It's more NoSQL database actually allow you to structure and organize very nicely data which is not in a tabular format. So if you don't have multiple columns which are actually filled, so that if you have columns which are partly filled and partly empty, actually relying on Graph database and NoSQL database is actually a very interesting point. But we don't have many of these type of data in our database currently. So
Creo que te está diciendo que una cosa buena de la base de datos NoSQL es que tú puedes tener formatos de datos que no son tablas y que si un columna no tiene datos, igual te puedes mantener, pero que en Fedora no tienen ese tipo de datos ahorita.
Ok, lo bueno de JSON es que permite mucha cantidad de tipos de datos y si utilizamos una base de datos en cada documento, no habrá mucho problema en la conversión de los datos entre, por ejemplo, entre Python y la base de datos.
Sí, pero dice que no, en este momento no tienen mucho de esos tipos de datos. O sea, que el problema no es transformarlos, sino que tienen muchos datos de ese tipo. O sea, que por lo menos la base de datos relacionada no funciona prácticamente.
La descentralización no aplica en este aspecto porque no tiene ese tipo de datos.
Ok, pero en el futuro podría presentarse ese problema o la necesidad de hacerlo.
So it is true that right now there's in Fedora there are not many there's no many data that actually would benefit a lot from that, dynamic structures that NoSQL technologies provide, but there can be use cases in the future, and we should probably be ready to support those.
So, and the second point which I wanted to raise was the fact that we actually never considered it. You may have heard about HyperKitty. That's the
Which one, sorry?
HyperKitty. It's the new mainline archive interface for mainline 3, which aims at bridging web forums and mailing lists into one platform. So that was started with Toshoka, Tommy, and I don't know, 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago. And at the beginning, I wanted to play with NoSQL database, so actually the first implementation was using MongoDB as a backend. What we did afterwards was we actually ended up asking ourselves, well, do we want to maintain 2 database servers, PostgreSQL for most of our application, and MongoDB for HyperKitty and our archives? So what we did is we basically took all the email archives that we have and put them on MongoDB and on PostgreSQL and look at basically a benchmark or type of benchmark or the type of query that we actually want to ask our mail archives. So basically return me all the emails which are of this topic or that contains this in the topic or in that body. What we found out was that using the PostgreSQL version which is on the L6, so not the latest one, and the default configuration settings on both PostgreSQL and MongoDB, we were ending up with very, very little difference in response time. Which means that with using a newer version of PostgreSQL and tuning the configuration, we could actually achieve even better results on the PostgreSQL side.
Well, you can probably do the same thing using the latest MongoDB version as well.
At that time, it was the latest MongoDB version.
So, I was going to answer for him, but
Don't worry.
Okay, lo que dice que cuál es el valor en realidad de mantener dos bases de datos y con una puedes obtener prácticamente las mismas, el mismo nivel de performance que tienes con la otra.
A la hora que crece la base de datos, el performance, bueno, el PostgreSQL se mantiene, pero como lo dije, el desarrollo puede ir variando en el futuro, quizá la tecnología cambie de aquí a unos 2 o 3 años, y las características del desarrollo de PostgreSQL pueden ser un poco más bajas que las de MongoDB a nivel de características como de capacidad de análisis de datos dentro de la misma base de datos.
So one of the things that in order to do a fair comparison, you have to have like the same realistic amount of data in both databases, and based on that, you can realize whether there's actually the same performance or not. And even if there is, there's some value of having there's some value in the future or future use cases of having NoSQL technologies rather than just staying with the current relational ones. Like, I don't know how much data you use to do your test, but if you think if you try to do the same test with probably a more realistic environment, I'm assuming you didn't, so if you did, just let me know. If you do the same test with a more realistic environment, that means that you have like lots and lots of data, and you probably will realize that other technologies might be faster than PostgreSQL. Which it really depends on how you structure your data and how you store it. Like you said, like if I tune PostgreSQL, I could probably get faster than the current version of MongoDB I was using.
I have a question here. Do we use full text indexing on Postgres for this?
At that time, for this one I would have to check. I don't remember now if I do.
Because I think by default MongoDB is full text indexing on the document, so
Yeah.
the performance was just the same as Postgres. It might have been that MongoDB was indexing as well.
No, there's no full text in MongoDB until the 2.4, and you have to enable it manually. The default indexing is P3, and it's definitely not full text.
And then there is one last thing which you actually didn't touch, is that the latest version of PostgreSQL actually allow you to do NoSQL, no structured data, including JSON-based expression. And that would mean that we actually benefit from the NoSQL architecture. We actually benefit from the NoSQL structure while having only one system to maintain.
Dicen que no mencionaste nada acerca de... Oh, there are some questions there. Okay. Que no mencionaste nada de NoSQL de PostgreSQL.
Ok, de pobre no sabía que iba a incluir motor de base de datos, motor de NoSQL, pero sí sé que MariaDB lo tiene. Ahora, los motores que utilizan no son motores tan específicos o no te dan toda la gama de motores que existen. O sea, es una característica de NoSQL que puedes tener. Hay mucha cantidad de opciones para la necesidad que uno tiene en específico.
Basically, what he said is that I haven't tested the NoSQL engine for PostgreSQL, but definitely, like, there are many different solutions for the same problem that we probably should try to be consistent with them. Like, the good solution is not actually just using several different types of databases at the same time, but probably just use one. And like I said, like he said actually, is that probably there's a lot of more value on using NoSQL technologies for the tools based on the current state of things. Or at least there's some effort that should be put there at least to test it out and see if that actually works out or not. Okay.
I'd be interested to see another comparison done like the one that Pierre did, but on the data number database from FedMessage. In Postgre right now, it has 8 million records, and it's slowly slowing down the rate at which we can get. You know, we have big indexes on it and stuff like that, but it would be something that we can do offline and see if we actually get a performance enhancement, and that would be a good candidate to do. The data is really unstructured, so it could be a good fit.
So, entonces lo que estoy diciendo es que me gustaría ver unas pruebas hechas con datos reales, que ahorita lo que tienen PostgreSQL es, o sea, Postgre se está poniendo lento, más lento cada día, que quisiera ver las pruebas hechas con offline, y presentar los datos y usar eso como base.
Is the best application for test? Is the cloud application of the Infra?
Podemos hacer una migración de una muestra aleatoria y de allí crear una similitud o portar parte del código de FedMessage a NoSQL y hacer un benchmark en las mismas circunstancias, tanto con Postgre como con cualquier motor o con varios motores de NoSQL.
So he's basically proposing to do the test with the FedMessage and importing the current data and create a realistic environment offline, like you mentioned, and do real tests and present the results as a proof of whether that's a good idea or not.
I have one other question if I may.
Go ahead, yeah, sure.
The QA team with Taskatron, they're looking to do their results DB with a graph database, but they want help doing that. They don't know how, so that would be another good place to work.
Ok, como dije, podemos utilizar varios tipos de bases de datos, inclusive varios motores dentro de un solo tipo de base de datos, para así elegir el que mejor nos convenga. Opciones hay muchas.
Yeah, we could definitely do the test with several different databases and engines and try it and see what works best for us.
Okay, you were talking about porting the existing
He's got an answer for you.
Okay.
Shoot!
Yeah, because or it's just like, yeah, there's a fancy new technology and we should use it. Because while this is perfect for Fedora distribution to push all the new stuff, it's the last thing you want to do in infrastructure. Like, we're writing tools just to use the newer technology for no like apparent benefit. It's, I think, not a good idea for critical tools like Modi.
I think nobody's disagreeing there. Just doing it for the sake of doing it is something entirely different than a need. So as to that need, you're not experiencing it because a feature of code you got dropped. Basically, it had too big a Postgres database for it to remain performant because it was storing all the MD5 sums of the files and the sizes for each build, and the required and the provided and the obsoletes and the conflicts and such and so forth. And that amounted to so much data that instead it switched back to just reading the RBM headers off of the file system. So one use case that could bring this back, because it's just big data. It has nothing to do with the relations so much. You can find a particular key that is magic for this build and then stuff it all in there. The one use case that is on the consuming side of what happens after a build is submitted in Koji is try to depth sort. Now one performance problem there is that you have to download the primary XML, you have to download the file list.xml, you have to read those in memory and then hand them over to libsort. This is taking a long time. If you stuff this in something that you can actually query in some of the other relational way, then that would be a lot faster. You could say, give me all requires for which there is no providers. Well, like that. That's excluding the shebang. That's one line code.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is it may be, like, I'm not really familiar with the tools you guys are using or how they have been developed or anything.
Oh, I'm not a part of the Fedora infrastructure.
Okay, what I want to say is like the other thing that should be considered is also what's the benefit in the long run. Like may be really painful right now, but if there are enough use cases that actually make sense to do this whole thing, we should just consider what's the benefit in the long run. Like probably it could be really painful right now.
I have a particular use case that in no way is it ever going to run with your traditional SQL type of stuff. I'm in Groupware, I'm an ISV there, and what we're going to do is stuff basically all events that happen against the Groupware environment, the log files, and the message content into NoSQL in order for us to allow archive, backup, restore, e-discovery, and data loss prevention. This is terabytes of data. Terabytes. And that'll just continue to grow. Organizations have a mandatory regulatory compliance type of thing to archive stuff for 10 years.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Unless you do snapshots and you delete everything from your servers, so the data is going to keep growing and just keep growing over time.
So that's where NoSQL kicks in for us.
Yes.
That's particularly.
For me, yeah.
So that brings me to my actual question. Any thoughts on Elasticsearch?
No lo había contemplado como opción para esto, pero sería una buena herramienta para combinar con lo que lo que podemos elegir al final.
I didn't consider it as a good option right now, but it's actually a good idea to put in the list of things to try it out. Any more questions?
I think Elasticsearch requires you to have Oracle Java.
Nope. Oh no, it does not.
Does it not?
No.
But I think they want you to run it.
They can want whatever they want.
Yeah, the issue is I've been using OpenGDK 6 and 7,
Yeah.
and 6 seemed to work fine for me, but 7 does not, and they would not support either case.
Oh, okay. Weird.
That's
Indeed.
weird.
But I've not had that constraint. I've pushed 15 tera so far. It's a nice little cluster. I have no problems with just doing the OpenGDK.
Yeah.
Whatever is on Enterprise Linux 6.
Yeah, 6 worked for me.
1.7 always.
Okay.
Is being
Yeah, it recently started failing for me.
Okay.
And there's no package for it either. There's still some bundling issues. There's a review request online, but it's become
Right.
confusion.
Okay. Questions? No? Thanks.